Welcome to my Film Frenzy channel. Today we have the movie Another World. The night, the city, the war that goes on in the shadow of people. The world of the film is an ancient confrontation between two races, vampires, eternal and calculating hunters, and lycans, bestial creatures, strong and irrepressible. In the center of the story is Selena, one of the Dawn Killers, a professional lycan hunter, whose duty and hatred of the enemy define her whole life. Her world of strict rules and rituals has been shaped over the centuries under the supervision of senior vampires, most notably Victor, the head, whose power is based on cruel wisdom and willingness to make sacrifices for the survival of his people. Selena came out of a childhood where she lost her family, a tragedy that fuels her determination and contempt for demons. The story begins with a mission. Selena's team chases lycans into abandoned industrial zones and forests, extracting evidence and trying to contain outbreaks of open warfare. Selena is cold-blooded and ruthless. She wields weapons and techniques that make her the terror of the night. Gradually, the legend is revealed to the viewer. The roots of the conflict go back to the distant past, to a man named Alexander Corvinus and his sons. Because of this, two mutation paths were created, those who became immortal vampires, and those who turned into rabid lycans. These myths tell about love, betrayal and betrayal, about Victor's daughter, Sonia, and about men whose destinies intersected in such a way that they created a war. Night after night, Selena hunts, and one day, after another outing, her life intersects with an ordinary man, Michael Corwin. Michael works at the hospital. He is smart, kind-hearted, and not bound by the world of vampires or lycans. Having accidentally found himself in the epicenter of the attack, he watches the battle in his apartment and becomes an object of interest from both sides. Selena first sees him as a threat, then as an unusual opportunity. Michael's blood contains traces of Corvinus blood, an ancient bloodline. This makes him unique and attractive to lycans, who have long sought a bearer of such blood. Their first rapprochement takes place cautiously. Without saying too much, Selena takes Michael to her share of vulnerability and at the same time tries to protect him from persecution. Meanwhile, a lycan leader named Lucian organizes a series of attacks. His plan is to find and convert the blood carrier, Corvinus, to his own power in order to gain an advantage in the war. Lucian is smart, charismatic and deeply wounded by the past. He remembers how healing wounds and fears gave rise to hatred of vampires, and now leads his race to freedom. The conflict turns from a hidden hairpin into an open game of espionage and betrayal. Selena suspects that there is a traitor in the ranks of the vampires, and begins her own investigation. She seizes old records, examines archives and discovers hidden facts. Victor, the eldest, who was considered to be the defender of his kind, made decisions that went beyond morality. He executed his own daughter Sonia when she broke the ban and fell in love with a man who turned into a lycan. Victor's act became the catalyst for a bloody confrontation. Many parties consider it necessary for survival, but for Selena this discovery is a personal wound that has given new meaning to her hatred and doubts. The intrigues intensify. One night, Selena comes across a recording that reveals an even crueler truth. Vampires have been experimenting with human prisoners in an attempt to profit from Corvinus blood. These experiments undermine the moral foundation on which their race stood. In parallel with the discovery of these secrets, the enemies become closer. Michael was bitten, first accidentally, then intentionally, and begins to change. His powers are awakening. He is stronger, faster, and at the same time, he is losing some of his humanity. Selena sees how the person she's growing fond of turns into something she's been hunting for all her life. This transformation becomes the emotional center of the film. She has a choice between duty and feelings, between devotion to those who raised her and those who arouse in her the desire to live differently. Lucian, having learned about Michael's capabilities, begins abducting people in order to perform a ritual or process that will restore the power of the ancient Lycan leaders. He acts with uncompromising determination, resorting to cunning and violence to get the blood and secrets needed for his plan. Selena tries to stop him, but her own people are not on her side. Many believe Victor and are afraid that personal sympathies will undermine their position. Against the background of this struggle, a separate line of deciphering betrayal unfolds. Who informed the lycanthropes of Michael's whereabouts and why? Selena moves forward step by step, collecting fragments of the truth. In one of the key episodes, Selena enters the old chambers of Victor's castle and discovers documents and evidence that definitively change her views. It turns out that Victor not only subdued threats, but also manipulated both sides in order to strengthen his own power. He organized Sonia's execution to prevent an alliance that could lead to peace, and then hushed up the consequences. The dramatic clash intensifies. Selena is furious. Her faith in order has been destroyed, but she still remains loyal to the one who was her mentor. This internal contradiction makes her actions even more intense. At the same time, Michael, becoming a hybrid, a creature that combines the features of both species, acquires unique abilities and becomes a target for both sides. For vampires, a dangerous experiment. For Lycans, the key to victory. His inner feelings are revealed through his behavior, through scenes where he tries to control his rage and preserve his own humanity. Selena and Michael slowly grow closer. Their relationship goes through trials, betrayal, injury, fear, and moments of tenderness. Every act of violence and every saved moment strengthens the emotional bond. Many scenes are devoted to chases and shootouts in abandoned complexes and catacombs, where the tone is set by flashes of moonlight and metallic sounds of battle. It is on one of these nights that Selena learns about an old legend concerning Marcus, an ancient ancestor whose image turned into a tragedy. This character symbolizes how ambition and jealousy can destroy the lives of many generations. At the climax of the main part, Lucian and his leaders bring Marcus back to life, or rather, awaken an ancient form of power that threatens both vampires and Lucian's followers. Victor is preparing for a decisive battle. He returns to the most complete methods that brought him to power: cruelty, betrayal, and manipulation. Selena, having learned the truth about Sonia and Victor, feels betrayed, and her duty to her elders is reversed. Now she will become the judge, deciding how this old feud will end. The battle takes place in the ancient halls and on the roof of the castle, where armies of both races clash. In these scenes, tension is constantly building. Fire, metal, screams, the fabric of civilization tearing apart. Selena fights with superhuman determination, her desire for justice and for a world that is not based on lies and cruelty gives her the strength to move on. Michael, now half human and half monster, turns out to be the key. His blood can stop or enhance the process that begins with Marcus awakening. Lucian sees him as the salvation of his people, Victor as a threat to his rule. In the final series of clashes, Selena makes a decision that becomes a turning point. She doesn't just serve her own, she chooses her own path and directs her strike against those who betrayed her. It's a crucial scene where old secrets are revealed and the truth comes to light. Victor is found guilty of close crimes against humanity and his kind, and he pays for it himself. The conflict is resolved with blood and sacrifice, but not without human traces of compassion. Michael sacrifices a part of himself to stop a more terrible future, and Selena sacrifices her old life to start a new one. The night after the battle, the world changes. Many of the fallen have left a void behind them, but with it a chance. Selena stands among the rubble. She has lost a lot, but she has gained the truth. Michael survives, but he is no longer completely human. He and Selena are symbols of a new reality in which the boundaries between races are blurred. In the final emotional epilogue, Selena reflects on the price of war and what it means to be free from the legacy of hate. She knows that the past will hardly disappear forever, but it has become possible to choose to live differently, not obeying the fears of elders. The ending leaves room for hope and questions. The future is unpredictable, but the fact that people and creatures can choose a path, and not just inherit grievances, is a lesson that Selena learned to dearly. To be continued.